You wake up on Christmas Eve, 1834, in a village that no longer exists on any map. The air smells like pine resin and wood smoke. Your breath clouds in front of your face. Outside, snow falls so quietly, it feels like the world is holding its breath. You're 8 years old. Your name is Thomas Whitmore, and you're about to become the only person awake in a town of 300 sleeping souls. But you don't know that yet. Right now, you're just cold. The fire in the hearth has died down to embers. Your mother promised to wake you for midnight mass, but the house is silent. Too silent. You pull the wool blanket tighter and listen. No footsteps, no voices. No clatter of pots or scrape of boots on stone. Nothing. You slip out of bed. The floorboards are ice beneath your bare feet. You tiptoe to your parents' room. The door is open. Your mother and father lie in bed, perfectly still. Not dead still. Sleeping still, but wrong. Their chests rise and fall in perfect rhythm, like clockwork, like they're synchronized to something you can't hear. You shake your mother's shoulder. Mom? Nothing. You shake harder. Mom, wake up. Her eyelids don't even flutter. Welcome to Ash Grove, England. Population, 301. Or rather, 300 sleepers and one very confused boy. This is the story of the strangest Christmas in British history. The story of a village that vanished into sleep and the child who became the last person awake on the longest night of the year, December 1834, the tail end of the Regency era. Britain is still reeling from cholera outbreaks, Industrial Revolution growing pains, and the ghost of the Napoleonic Wars. But Ash Grove is a pocket of the old world, a farming village in the Cotswolds where life moves at the pace of seasons, where Christmas still means something ancient, something older than Christianity. The villagers have been preparing for weeks. Every household baked mince pies with suet and dried fruit, every door wreathed in holly and ivy. The church bell has been polished, the nativity figures dusted off. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, there will be a feast. Roasted goose, plum pudding, mulled wine, hymns sung by candlelight, children performing the story of the shepherds and the star. But tonight, something has gone wrong. Thomas moves through the house like a ghost. His younger sister Emily is asleep in her crib, mouth open, hands curled into tiny fists. He tries to wake her too. Nothing. He runs to the kitchen. The bread dough his mother was kneading sits half risen on the table. A knife rests beside a half-peeled turnip. Everything stopped mid-motion. Outside, the snow has buried the village green and white. Thomas pulls on his coat and boots and stumbles into the street. The cobblestones are slick. The houses are dark. Not dark like sleeping dark, like abandoned. He runs to the nearest door and pounds with both fists. Hello? Anyone? Silence. He tries another house, another. Every door is unlocked. Every family is asleep. The baker slumped over his counter. The blacksmith in his chair. The vicar collapsed at his desk, quill still in hand. They all breathe. They all live, but none of them wake. Thomas stands in the center of the village square, surrounded by snow and silence. The church bell tower looms above him, black against the gray sky. The clock face reads 11:47 p.m., 30 minutes until Christmas, and that's when he hears it. A sound, faint, rhythmic, like a lullaby hummed under someone's breath. It's coming from the church. Thomas walks toward it, his heartbeat loud in his ears. The church door is ajar. Candlelight flickers inside. He pushes it open. The pews are full. Every person in the village is here, sitting upright, eyes closed, hands folded in their laps. 300 people arranged like mannequins. And at the front, standing at the pulpit, is a woman Thomas has never seen before. She's old, ancient. Her hair is white as the snow outside. Her dress is black wool, patched and threadbare. She's humming that lullaby low and tuneless and wrong. And in her hands, she holds something that glows faintly in the candlelight. A music box. Thomas freezes. The woman's eyes open. They're pale blue, almost colorless. She looks at him and smiles. "Ah," she says softly. "When awake, how inconvenient." She winds the music box. The lullaby grows louder. Thomas feels his knees buckle. His eyelids grow heavy. The world tilts sideways. He thinks of his mother, his sister, the bread dough waiting on the table, and he runs. He doesn't know where he's going. Just away. Away from the church. Away from the woman. Away from that sound. His lungs burn. His legs scream. But he doesn't stop until he's back in his house, door slammed shut, heart hammering against his ribs. He's alone. The only person awake in a village of sleepers. And Christmas Eve is almost over. The clock on the mantel ticks, each second impossibly loud. Thomas looks around the kitchen, the half-risen bread, his mother's shawl on the chair, Emily's wooden toys scattered on the floor. Everything is normal. Everything is wrong. He walks to the window, peers out at the square. The church stands like a monument, dark, silent, waiting. Thomas knows he should go back, should try to wake someone, should do something, but fear roots him in place. That woman, that music box, that lullaby that made his bones feel like water. What is she? He doesn't have an answer. He's 8. He doesn't have answers for anything. But he knows one thing with absolute certainty. If he falls asleep, he'll never wake up. So he stays awake, pacing, talking to himself, pinching his arms, splashing cold water on his face, doing anything to keep his eyes open. Because Thomas Whitmore, 8 years old and terrified, has just become the last guardian of a village that no longer exists. If this feels too real, subscribe before you fall asleep too. Trust me, you'll want to see how this ends. Or doesn't. Let's rewind. 6 days before Christmas. Ashgrove is preparing. The village green is busy with children building snowmen and women hanging laundry despite the cold. Thomas is helping his father chop firewood behind the house. The axe thuds into the log. Split. Stack. Repeat. It's monotonous. It's ordinary. It's everything that's about to disappear. That's when the stranger arrives. She comes on foot, walking up the road from the south. No cart, no horse. Just an old woman in a black cloak, carrying a wicker basket and a leather satchel. She moves slowly, leaning on a walking stick. By the time she reaches the village, well, a small crowd has gathered. Mrs. Cartwright, the innkeeper's wife, is the first to speak. "Are you lost, dear?" The old woman smiles. "Not lost. Just passing through. There's nothing south of here but moorland," says Mr. Pembrook, the schoolteacher. "Where are you headed?" "Wherever the road takes me." Her voice is soft, melodic, almost sing-song. "I'm a peddler. I sell remedies, charms, small comforts for the winter months." The villagers exchange glances. Peddlers are common enough, but something about this one feels off. Too polite, too still. Her eyes don't quite meet anyone's gaze. Mrs. Cartwright, ever the hostess, offers her a room at the inn. No charge. It's nearly Christmas after all. The old woman accepts. She introduces herself as Maud Winters. She says she's traveled from the north. She says she's tired. She says she's grateful. She's lying. Over the next few days, Maud becomes a fixture in Ashgrove. She sets up a small stall near the church, selling dried herbs, tinctures, and hand-carved trinkets. The women of the village are drawn to her. She has remedies for everything: headaches, coughs, sleeplessness. She tells fortunes with tea leaves. She hums while she works. That lullaby. Thomas sees her from a distance. Something about her makes his stomach twist. He doesn't tell anyone. He's 8. Who would listen? But he watches. On the third day, Mrs. Pemberton buys a sachet of lavender. "For my husband," she says. "He hasn't slept well in weeks." Maud smiles. "This will help. Steep it in hot water before bed. He'll sleep like a baby." Mrs. Pemberton does exactly that. That night, her husband sleeps 14 hours straight. He wakes groggy but rested. Word spreads. Soon, half the village is buying Maud's sleep remedies. Sachets, tinctures, little cloth pouches filled with God knows what. "Best sleep of my life," says the blacksmith. "Dreamed of angels," says the baker. "Didn't wake once," says the vicar. Maud smiles and hums and sells more. Thomas doesn't buy anything. His mother does, though. "A small vial of amber liquid. For your father," she says. "He's been working too hard." That night, Thomas's father drinks the tincture in his evening tea. He's asleep before his head hits the pillow, and he sleeps deeply. Too deeply. The next morning, Thomas's mother has to shake him awake. "You were snoring like a bear." She laughs, but Thomas doesn't laugh. He watches his father blink slowly, like he's still half dreaming. He watches his mother pour herself a cup of the same tea. "Mum," Thomas says quietly. "Don't." She ruffles his hair. "Don't be silly, love. It's just herbs." She drinks it anyway. By December 23rd, everyone in Ashgrove has bought something from Maud Winters. Everyone except Thomas. He doesn't know why he refuses. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's stubbornness. Maybe it's the way Maud looks at him when he passes her stall like she's measuring him for a coffin. That night, his mother prepares Christmas Eve supper. Roasted chicken, potatoes, bread. She hums while she cooks. That same lullaby. Thomas's stomach drops. "Mom, where did you learn that song?" She pauses. Frowns. "I don't know. Isn't it lovely?" It's not. Dinner is quiet. Thomas pushes his food around his plate. His father talks about the Christmas service. His mother talks about the feast tomorrow. Emily babbles in her high chair. Everything is normal. Except it's not. After dinner, Thomas's mother gives him a cup of warm milk. "Drink up. Big day tomorrow." He takes a sip. It tastes sweet. Too sweet. Like honey and something else. Something metallic. He pretends to drink and pours the rest into the hearth when no one is looking. By 9 p.m., the house is silent. Everyone is asleep. Everyone except Thomas. He lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding. The church bell chimes the hour. 9, 10, 11. He waits and waits. And then, at 11:47 p.m., he gets up. That's when he finds them, his family, the village, all asleep. All gathered in the church, all under Maud Winters' spell. And now he's alone. The snow falls heavier. The wind picks up. Thomas stands in the center of the village square, breath clouding in the air, and realizes 3 things. 1. No one is coming to help. 2. Maud Winters is not a peddler. 3. If he falls asleep, he'll never wake up. The clock strikes midnight. Christmas Day begins. And Thomas Whitmore, 8 years old, cold and terrified, becomes the last guardian of a village that no longer exists. He looks at the church, at the houses, at the empty streets. This is his village. These are his people, his family, his home. And something inside him, something small but fierce, decides, no, not tonight, not ever. Maud Winters can hum her lullabies. She can wind her music box. She can trap his entire village in sleep. But she won't get him. Thomas Whitmore is staying awake. No matter what, no matter how long, no matter how hard, because someone has to. Someone has to stand. Someone has to refuse. And tonight, That someone is an 8-year-old boy who doesn't understand magic or witches or ancient curses. He just understands this. His mother is in that church. His father. His baby sister. 300 people who deserve to wake up on Christmas morning. And Thomas will make sure they do. Or die trying. What do you do when everyone you love is gone, but still breathing? Here's what Thomas knows about staying awake. Nothing. He's 8. The longest he's ever stayed up is until 10 p.m. on Midsummer's Eve, and even then, he fell asleep in his father's arms during the bonfire. Now it's midnight on Christmas. The village is silent. The snow is relentless. And Thomas Whitmore is running on adrenaline and terror. He paces his house. Kitchen to parlor to bedroom and back. Movement keeps him awake. Stillness invites sleep. He learned that in the first 10 minutes. He sat down to think, just for a moment, and his eyelids drooped. His head lolled. He jolted awake with his heart hammering and his hands shaking. Sleep is the enemy. He lights every candle he can find. The house glows like a beacon. Light helps. Darkness is too comfortable, too inviting. He boils water on the stove even though he's not thirsty. The sound of bubbling keeps him alert. He talks to himself. Out loud. Full sentences. You're Thomas Whitmore. You're 8 years old. You live in Ash Grove. Your mother's name is Margaret. Your father's name is John. Your sister's name is Emily. You're awake. You're awake. You're awake. The repetition is a lifeline. He walks to the window, peers out at the village square. The church looms at the far end, its bell tower cutting into the gray sky. No smoke from chimneys, no footprints in the streets. Just white and black and the skeletal shadows of bare trees. Maud Winters is still in there, with everyone. Thomas knows he should go back, should try to wake someone, should do something. But fear roots him in place. That lullaby, that music box. The way Maud looked at him like he was an inconvenience. A mistake. What is she? Let's talk about Maud Winters. Or rather, let's talk about what Maud Winters might be. Because in 1834, in a rural English village like Ash Grove, folklore isn't just stories. It's survival knowledge. It's the difference between life and death. Thomas doesn't know the word witch. Not really. He's heard it whispered. Old women accused of curdling milk or cursing crops. But those are just stories, aren't they? Except Maud Winters hummed a lullaby and put 300 people to sleep. In British folklore, there are creatures called night hags. They slip into homes while families sleep. They sit on chests. They steal breath. They trap sleepers in nightmares. Some say they're witches. Others say they're older remnants of pre-Christian gods, spirits of winter, guardians of the dark. Maud Winters fits the profile perfectly. She arrived before Christmas, the darkest time of year, the threshold between the old world and the new. She sold sleep. She hummed a song that wormed into people's minds. And now she has them all. But why? Thomas doesn't have an answer. He's 8. He barely understands why adults do anything. But he knows this. Maud Winters wants them asleep. And she wants them asleep on Christmas. That means something. He thinks about the church. The pews full of sleepers. The music box in Maud's hands. What happens if she keeps winding it? Do they sleep forever? Do they die? Do they wake up changed? He doesn't want to find out. But he also can't stay in his house forever. The candles are burning low. The fire is dying. And Thomas is exhausted. Not sleepy exhausted. There's a difference. Sleepy is soft, comfortable. Exhausted is raw. Every blink feels like sandpaper. His bones ache. His thoughts move like molasses. He needs a plan. Option 1. Run. Leave Ash Grove. Walk south until he finds another village. Get help. except the nearest village is 10 miles away. The snow is knee-deep. He's 8. He'd freeze before dawn. Option 2. Hide. Stay in his house. Wait for anyone to wake up. Except what if they don't? What if Maud keeps them asleep forever? Option 3. Go back to the church. Confront Maud. Stop her. He's 8. He chooses option 3. Because here's the thing about Thomas Whitmore. He's scared. He's small. He's alone. But he's also the kind of kid who refused Maud's remedies when everyone else bought them. The kind of kid who poured the drugged milk into the fire instead of drinking it. The kind of kid who, when faced with impossible choices, picks the one that feels right, even if it's terrifying. He's not a hero. Not yet, but he's stubborn. He wraps himself in his coat, pulls on his boots, grabs the iron poker from the hearth. It's heavy. Too heavy, but it's something. He opens the door. The cold hits him like a fist. The snow is still falling. The wind howls through the empty streets. He walks toward the church. Step by step, breath by breath. His heartbeat is a drum in his ears. The poker drags in the snow behind him. He passes the baker's house, the blacksmith forge, the schoolteacher's cottage. All dark, all silent. The church door is still ajar. Thomas stands at the threshold. Inside, candlelight flickers. The pews are full. Maud Winters is at the pulpit, music box in hand. She's not looking at him. She's looking at the sleepers, and she's smiling. Thomas takes a breath. He steps inside. The floorboards creak. Maud's head turns. Her pale eyes lock onto his. "Back so soon?" she says softly. Thomas grips the poker. "Let them go," Maud laughs. It's not cruel. It's amused. Like a grandmother watching a child play pretend. Let them go? Oh, little one. They're not prisoners. They're sleeping. Peacefully. Deeply. Doesn't that sound nice? They won't wake up. Not yet, Maud agrees. She winds the music box. The lullaby hums through the church. Thomas's knees buckle. He grabs a pew to steady himself. Maud watches. You should be asleep too, you know. Everyone else is. Why fight it? Because it's wrong? Wrong? Maud tilts her head. Is rest wrong? Is peace wrong? These people work themselves to death. They toil and suffer and pray for relief. I gave them relief. I gave them the gift of sleep. They didn't ask for it. They bought my remedies. They drank my tinctures. They welcomed me into their homes. Maud steps closer. I didn't force anyone, Thomas. They chose this. Thomas shakes his head. His vision blurs. The lullaby is everywhere. In his ears, in his bones. He wants to lie down. Just for a moment. Just to rest. No. He raises the poker. Let them go. Maud sighs. You're gonna be difficult, aren't you? She winds the music box again. And Thomas Whitmore, 8 years old and terrified, realizes he's about to fight a creature older than Christmas itself. How do you fight something you don't understand? How do you win when you don't even know the rules? Maud Winters doesn't move. She doesn't need to. The lullaby does the work. It fills the church like water filling a sinking ship. Slow. Inevitable. Thomas feels it pressing against his skull. His eyelids droop. His grip on the iron poker loosens. The pews blur. The candles smear into golden streaks. He stumbles. Catches himself. Stumbles again. Maud watches. Patient. Eternal. You're strong, she says quietly. Stronger than most. But even the strong must rest eventually. Thomas bites his tongue. The pain jolts him awake. Blood fills his mouth. Copper and salt. He spits. What are you? Maud smiles. I'm a collector. Of what? Sleep. Dreams. Memories. She cradles the music box like a child. When people sleep, they give me pieces of themselves. Little fragments of joy and sorrow and longing. I keep them. I treasure them. I've been collecting for a very long time. Thomas's mind reels. You're stealing their dreams? Stealing? Maud looks offended. I'm preserving them. Dreams fade, Thomas. Memories crumble. But I keep them safe. Forever. Isn't that beautiful? It's wrong, says the boy who's never lost anything. Maud's voice hardens. You don't know what it's like to forget. To watch centuries pass and lose everyone you've ever loved. To have nothing left but echoes. Thomas doesn't understand. He doesn't care. Let them go. I can't. Why not? Because they're already mine. Maud winds the music box. The lullaby crescendos. Thomas's knees give out. He collapses onto the floor. The poker clatters beside him, his eyes close. And then he's somewhere else. He's standing in a forest. The trees are silver. The sky is black. No stars, no moon, just darkness pressing down like a weight. He looks at his hands. They're translucent, ghostly. Where am I? Inside the music box, Maud's voice echoes from everywhere and nowhere. This is where the dreams live. Thomas spins. Shapes move between the trees. Figures. People. He recognizes some of them. The baker. The blacksmith. Mrs. Cartwright. They walk in circles, eyes closed, mouths moving silently. They're dreaming. Trapped in loops of memory. The baker needs dough that isn't there. The blacksmith swings a hammer and an invisible anvil. Mrs. Cartwright sets a table for guests who never arrive. They're stuck, Thomas whispers. They're safe, Maud corrects. She materializes beside him. Younger now, no longer ancient. Her hair is dark. Her dress is fine silk. She looks like a noblewoman from centuries ago. Here, they don't suffer. They don't grieve. They don't age. They just dream. Forever. That's not living. Living is pain, Thomas. I learned that a long time ago. Maud waves her hand. The forest shifts. Now they're standing in a grand hall. Stone walls. Tapestries. A fire roaring in a hearth the size of a house. A feast is laid out on a long table. And at the head of the table sits a man. Dark-haired. Handsome. He's laughing. Maud stares at him. Her expression is unreadable. Who is he? Thomas asks. My husband? Her voice cracks. He died in 1348. The plague. I watched him waste away. I couldn't save him. I couldn't do anything. The scene shifts again. Now Maud is kneeling beside a bed. The man is dying. His skin is covered in black sores. His breathing is shallow. Maud holds his hand. She's crying. I begged for more time, she whispers. I prayed. I bargained. And something answered. The room darkens. A figure appears in the doorway. Tall, cloaked, faceless. It offered me a choice, Maud continues. Let him die. Or keep him. Forever. In dreams. Thomas understands. You chose dreams. I chose love. Maud turns to him. Tears stream down her face. And then I couldn't stop. I started collecting others. Friends, family, strangers, anyone who was suffering. I gave them peace. I gave them eternity. You trapped them. I saved them. The forest returns. The sleepers circle endlessly. Maud is old again. Worn. Tired. I've been doing this for 700 years, she says. I can't stop. The music box won't let me. It needs dreams to exist. And if I stop feeding it, she trails off. I'll lose everyone, including him. Thomas looks at her. Really looks. For the first time, he sees past the monster. He sees a woman who loved someone so much she broke the world to keep him. And he feels sorry for her, but not sorry enough. They're not yours to keep, Thomas says firmly. Maud's eyes flash. Then wake them. If you can. The forest dissolves. Thomas is back in the church. On the floor, Maud stands over him, music box in hand. "You wanted a fight," she says coldly. "Here it is. Break the music box. Free them. But know this. If you destroy it, every dream inside dies. Every memory. Every soul. Including your family." Thomas's blood runs cold. "You're lying." "Am I?" Maud winds the music box. There's only one way to find out. She sets the music box on the pulpit, and she walks away. Down the aisle. Through the door. Into the snow. Thomas is alone with 300 sleepers, and a choice he doesn't know how to make. Destroy the music box. Free everyone. But risk killing them, or let Maud keep them. Forever. Trapped in dreams. He's 8 years old, and he has no idea what to do. The candles flicker. The lullaby hums. The clock strikes 1 a.m. Thomas crawls toward the pulpit. His hands shake. The music box glows faintly. Beautiful. Deadly. He reaches for it and hesitates. What if Maud is telling the truth? Thomas Whitmore is not a philosopher. He's 8. He thinks in concrete terms. Right and wrong. Good and bad. Hungry or not hungry. But standing in that church, staring at the music box, he's faced with something that doesn't fit into neat categories. If he destroys it, people die. Maybe. If he doesn't, they're trapped forever. Definitely. Both options are terrible. He sits on the steps of the pulpit, head in his hands. The sleepers breathe in unison behind him. In, out. In, out. Like a single organism. The lullaby drones on. Quieter now. Almost gentle. The music box sits above him, glowing faintly. Thomas wants his mother. He wants his father. He wants to be small and scared and have someone else make the choice. But there's no one else, just him. So he does what any 8-year-old would do. He talks to himself. If I break it, they might die. But they also might wake up. Maud said the dreams die. But she also said she's been lying for 700 years. So maybe she's lying now. Or maybe she's not. Maybe she wants me to break it because that's part of her plan. Or maybe she wants me to leave it alone because she's scared. He's talking in circles. His head hurts. He looks at the sleepers. His mother is in the third pew, hands folded. His father beside her. Emily in his father's lap. They look peaceful. Like they're resting. Like nothing is wrong. What if Maud is right? What if this is better? No pain. No fear. Just endless sleep. No. Thomas shakes his head. He remembers something his father said once. They were working in the garden. Thomas had asked why they had to plant seeds every year when it was so much work. His father smiled. Because that's what living is, son. Work. Growth. Change. If everything stayed the same, we'd be statues. Not people. Thomas stands. His legs are unsteady. His heart pounds. But his mind is clear. Maud wants stasis. Safety. A world where nothing changes because change is loss. But life isn't safe. Life is messy. Painful. Beautiful. Real. And Thomas chooses real. He climbs the steps to the pulpit. The music box is small. Delicate. Carved wood inlaid with silver. The lullaby spills from it like water. He picks it up. It's warm. Alive. He thinks about Maud. About her husband. About 700 years of grief and loneliness. He feels sorry for her. He does. But he's not going to let her keep his family. He raises the music box above his head. And he throws it. It hits the stone floor. The wood splinters. The silver cracks. The lullaby stops. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the church explodes with sound. Gasps, coughs, cries. 300 people waking up at once. Confusion, panic, voices overlapping. What? Where? How did we? Thomas's mother jerks upright. His father blinks. Emily wails. People stumble out of pews. Someone lights a lantern. The vicar calls for calm. Thomas collapses. His legs give out. His vision blurs. He's so tired. So tired. But he's smiling. They're awake. His mother finds him first. She scoops him into her arms. Thomas? Thomas, what happened? Why are we in the church? He can't answer. His eyes close. Sleep pulls him under. But this time, it's just sleep. Normal. Human. Safe. He hears his father's voice. Margaret, look, his mother gasps. Thomas forces his eyes open. The music box is shattered on the floor. And from the cracks, light spills out. Not golden. Not white. Silver. Like moonlight. It rises into the air. Shapes form in the light. Figures. Hundreds of them. The dreams Maud collected. They swirl through the church. Translucent, ethereal. Thomas sees faces. Young, old, medieval peasants. Tudor nobles. Georgian merchants. Centuries of sleepers. They look around. Confused. Free. And then they fade. One by one. Dissolving into nothing. Or into everything. The villagers watch in stunned silence. No one speaks. No one moves. The last figure fades. The light dims. The church is ordinary again. Just stone and wood and candlelight. The vicar clears his throat. I believe it's Christmas. Someone laughs. Nervous. Relieved. Others join in. Slowly, the villagers file out of the church. Back to their homes. Back to their lives. No one knows what happened. Not really. But they're alive. They're awake. And that's enough. Thomas's father carries him home. His mother walks beside them, Emily in her arms. The snow has stopped. The sky is lightening. Dawn is coming. You're a strange boy, Thomas Whitmore, his mother says softly. Thomas smiles. I know. They put him to bed. Real bed. With blankets and pillows and his mother's kiss on his forehead. He's asleep in seconds. He dreams of nothing. It's perfect. When Thomas wakes, it's afternoon. Christmas Day. The house smells like roasted goose and cinnamon. Laughter drifts from downstairs. He stretches. His body aches. His head feels stuffed with cotton, but he's alive. He goes downstairs. The kitchen is warm. His family is there. His mother at the stove. His father setting the table. Emily playing with wooden blocks. Normal. Real. There he is, his father says. The boy who slept through half of Christmas. Thomas grins. Sorry. Don't be. You've earned it. They eat. They talk. They laugh. No one mentions the night before. Maybe they don't remember. Maybe they do, and they're choosing not to talk about it. Thomas doesn't ask. Later, after dinner, he walks to the village square. The snow has melted. The streets are muddy. Children play near the church. Adults chat by the well. Everything is normal. Except for one thing. There's a cairn near the well. A pile of stones. Small. Unassuming. But deliberate. Someone built it. Maybe everyone. A memorial. Thomas walks over. There's no plaque. No name. Just stones. He adds one. A smooth gray pebble from his pocket. Goodbye, Maud, he whispers. And he walks home. Maud Winters was never seen again. No records of her exist. No grave. No mention in parish logs. She vanished like a dream. But in Ashgrove, people remembered. Not in words. Not in stories, but in feelings. On Christmas Eve, for years afterward, villagers would stay awake a little longer. Light an extra candle. Keep watch, just in case. Because they knew, even if they didn't say it, some things don't die. They just sleep. Waiting for the next long night. The next lonely soul. The next person desperate enough to say yes. Thomas Whitmore grew up. He became a teacher, then a husband, then a father. He told his children the story, not as a warning, as a reminder. The world is strange and fragile and precious. And sometimes, the only thing standing between sleep and waking is one stubborn kid who refuses to give up. That's the story of the boy who saved Christmas. Not with magic, not with miracles, just with choice. And if you think it's just a story, you've never been to the Cotswolds on Christmas Eve. You've never walked through a village that's too quiet. You've never heard a lullaby humming on the wind, because some stories are warnings, and some are maps. And this one is both. Sleep well, but not too well. The thing about surviving the impossible is that life doesn't stop to applaud. Christmas Day, 1834. Ashgrove wakes to normalcy. Normalcy, after 300 people slept through what should have been midnight mass and woke in a church with no memory of how they got there. Normalcy, after an 8-year-old boy battled something older than Britain itself. But Britain is very good at normalcy, especially in 1834. The village explains it away. Bad meat, tainted ale, collective fainting spell. The vicar suggests it was a test from God. Mrs. Cartwright insists it was swamp gas. The blacksmith blames the French, because of course he does. Everyone has a theory. None of them involve ancient memory-stealing sleep witches with music boxes. Except Thomas knows better. He sits at the Christmas table, pushing roasted goose around his plate, and watches his family. His mother tells a story about the time she burned a Christmas pudding. His father laughs. Emily tries to eat a potato with her hands. Everything is warm. Everything is right. But Thomas sees the edges now. The fragility. How easily it could have all disappeared. His mother notices him staring. "You're quiet, love." "Are you feeling all right?" "Fine," Thomas says. "Just tired." She touches his forehead. Checks for fever. Finds none. "You slept nearly 12 hours. I've never seen you so exhausted. I had strange dreams." "Oh?" His father leans forward. "What kind of dreams?" Thomas hesitates. How do you explain forests made of memory? Loops of trapped consciousness? A woman who loved someone so much she broke time itself? Just strange, he says finally. His father nods. Christmas Eve dreams are always peculiar. Something about the night, the cold, the anticipation. He carves another slice of goose. When I was your age, I dreamed I was a shepherd following a star. Walked for hours. Woke up in the barn. His mother laughs. Your father was a sleepwalker. Once, his father protests. I sleepwalked once. The conversation moves on. Thomas eats. The goose is perfect. The potatoes are buttery. The bread is warm. Everything tastes real, solid, safe. But he keeps thinking about Maud's question. Is rest wrong? Is peace wrong? And his answer, if it's not real, yes. After dinner, the family attends the afternoon service. The church is packed. Everyone is there, dressed in their best clothes, singing hymns. The vicar gives a sermon about miracles and gratitude. He doesn't mention the night before directly, but the subtext is clear. We survived something. We don't know what, but we're grateful. Thomas sits in the pew where his mother slept. He looks around. The baker, the schoolteacher, Mrs. Cartwright, all present, all alive, all awake. He catches the vicar's eye. For a moment, just a moment, the vicar pauses. He looks at Thomas. Really looks like he sees something, knows something. Then he smiles and continues the sermon. After the service, children gather in the square. Someone has built a bonfire. Someone else brought chestnuts to roast. The adults drink mulled wine and gossip. Thomas stands near the fire, warming his hands, watching. You're the Whitmore boy, aren't you? Thomas turns. A girl stands beside him, older, maybe 12. Red hair, freckles. He doesn't know her name. Yes, he says. You were the only one awake last night, weren't you? Thomas's stomach drops. What? I remember, she says quietly. Not everything. Just pieces. Being in the church, hearing a song. And then, you, standing there with a fire poker. Thomas doesn't know what to say. The girl shrugs. No one else remembers. Just me. I don't know why. She holds out her hand. I'm Alice Pembrook. Thomas shakes her hand. Thomas. I know. Alice grins. You're famous now. The boy who didn't fall asleep. My father thinks you're immune to whatever happened. My mother thinks you were blessed. I think you're just stubborn. Maybe, Thomas admits. Thank you, Alice says, for whatever you did. I don't remember it all, but I remember being scared, and then not being scared. So, thank you. She walks away before Thomas can respond. He watches her disappear into the crowd, and he realizes something. He's not alone. Someone else remembers. Someone else knows. It helps. More than he expected. The days after Christmas blur together. The village returns to routine. Fields need tending. Animals need feeding. Life continues, but small things have changed. People are kinder, more patient. They linger at meals. They talk longer. They don't take each other for granted. It's subtle, but it's there. Thomas notices. He always notices now. He sees the way his mother pauses before bed to kiss his father goodnight. Really, kiss him. Not just habit. The way his father watches Emily play, like he's memorizing her. The way neighbors greet each other warmer, closer. Ashgrove almost lost itself, and now it holds on tighter. But there are cracks too. Some people don't adjust well. The baker has nightmares, wakes screaming about forests with silver trees. The schoolteacher stops sleeping entirely. He drinks coffee until his hands shake. Mrs. Cartwright develops a habit of checking doors, locking them, unlocking them, locking them again. No one talks about it, but everyone knows. Something happened. Something wrong. Thomas keeps the music box shards. He finds them after the Christmas service. The vicar swept them into a corner, planning to dispose of them. Thomas pockets a few pieces when no one is looking. He doesn't know why. Maybe proof. Maybe memory. He keeps them in a small cloth bag under his bed. Sometimes late at night he takes them out, examines them. The wood is ordinary. The silver is dull. They don't glow. They don't hum. They're just broken pieces of a broken thing. But Thomas knows what they were, what they held. 700 years of dreams, gone. He wonders where they went. Maud said they'd die, but Thomas saw them dissolve. Not disappear, dissolve, like they became something else. He wonders if the dreams are still out there, in the wind, in the snow, in the spaces between sleep and waking. He wonders if people dream them sometimes. Old dreams, medieval dreams. Dreams from people who've been dead for centuries. He wonders if that's okay. New Year's Eve arrives. The village throws a small celebration. Nothing extravagant. Just food and drink and music. Thomas attends with his family. His father dances with his mother. Emily claps along. Thomas stands near the musicians, watching. Alice appears beside him again. Still thinking about it? Yes, me too. She pulls out a small notebook. Flips it open. Pages of writing. I've been recording what I remember, just in case, so it doesn't disappear. Thomas reads a few lines. Silver trees. A lullaby. A woman with pale eyes. You remember more than me, he says. You were awake longer, Alice points out. You saw everything. Not everything. Enough. Alice closes the notebook. Do you think she's really gone? The woman? Thomas hesitates. He thinks about Maud's last words. You wanted a fight. Here it is. I don't know, he admits. Maybe. Maybe not. That's not comforting. I know. They stand in silence. The music plays. People laugh. The fire crackles. We should stay awake, Alice says suddenly. Tonight. New Year's. Just to make sure. Thomas looks at her. You think she'll come back? I think we should be ready if she does. So they do. They stay awake. Together. Thomas tells his mother he's not tired. Alice tells her father she wants to see the new year. The adults don't argue. They're still shaken. Still adjusting. They let the children do what they need to do. Thomas and Alice sit on the steps of the church. The same steps where Thomas sat with the music box. They watch the village, the bonfire, the dancers, the night. Midnight approaches. The church bell prepares to ring. 13 chimes to mark the new year. Thomas tenses. Alice grips her notebook. The bell rings. 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. 4, 5, 6. The village celebrates. Cheers. Hugs. 7, 8, 9. No lullaby. No music box. No Maud. 10, 11, 12, 13. Silence. Thomas exhales. Alice laughs, relieved, giddy. We did it, she says. We stayed awake. Yeah, Thomas says. We did. They sit a while longer, watching the village, watching the year turn. And Thomas realizes something. He's not the same boy he was a week ago. He's seen things, done things, chosen things. He's changed. But that's okay. That's life. That's growing up. The world is strange and dangerous and full of things that want to steal you away, but is also full of people who will fight for you, who will stay awake with you, who will remember. Thomas Whitmore goes home that night. He sleeps. He dreams of nothing. And when he wakes, it's January 1st, 1835. A new year. A new start. 3 weeks pass. January settles over Ashgrove like a gray blanket. The snow melts into slush. The excitement of Christmas fades. Life returns to its relentless rhythm. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Thomas goes back to school. The schoolhouse is a single room with a wood stove and 20 children of varying ages. Mr. Pembrook, Alice's father, teaches reading, arithmetic, and history. He's a thin man with spectacles and ink-stained fingers. Before Christmas, he was energetic, passionate about education. Now, he's different. He doesn't sleep. Thomas notices it immediately. The dark circles, the trembling hands, the way Mr. Pembrook stares out the window mid-sentence, like he's listening for something. One afternoon, Thomas stays after class. Sir, are you all right? Mr. Pembrook blinks, focuses. Yes, of course. Why do you ask? You seem tired. I'm fine, Thomas, but his smile doesn't reach his eyes. Just busy. Thomas doesn't push, but he watches, and he's not the only one. Alice corners him after school. My father's getting worse. I know. He hasn't slept in 3 weeks. Not once. He says he can't. Says every time he closes his eyes he hears the song. Thomas's blood runs cold. The lullaby? Yes. Alice's voice drops. He remembers more than he's telling anyone. More than me. I think he saw something. In the dream. Something that scared him. Did he say what? No, but last night I heard him talking to himself. He kept saying, she's not gone. She's waiting. Thomas and Alice look at each other. The same thought passes between them. Maud. That night, Thomas can't sleep. Not because of magic, because of fear. He lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to his parents snore. Every creak of the house makes him jump. Every gust of wind sounds like humming. He gets up, lights a candle, pulls out the music box shards from under his bed. They're still ordinary, still broken. But he examines them closely, looking for what? He doesn't know. Then he sees it. One of the shards is writing on it. Tiny, carved into the wood. Latin, maybe, or something older. He can't read it, but he recognizes one word: somnus, sleep. He wraps the shards back up, hides them, and makes a decision. Tomorrow, he's going back to the church. The next morning is Sunday. The village attends service. Thomas waits until everyone is inside, then slips away. He walks to the spot where the music box shattered. The floor has been swept clean, but Thomas knows how to look for things others miss. He gets on his hands and knees, searches, and finds it. A single silver gear. Small. Intricate. It must have rolled under a pew during the chaos. Thomas picks it up. It's warm. Warmer than it should be. And it's ticking. Faint. Almost imperceptible. But there. Tick. 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 The music box isn't dead. It's regenerating. Thomas pockets the gear. His heart races. He needs to tell someone. But who? The adults don't remember. They won't believe him. Alice might. But what can two children do? He decides to wait. Watch. See if anything else happens. Something does. That night, the baker doesn't wake up. His wife finds him in bed, breathing but unresponsive. She shakes him, slaps him, screams. Nothing. The doctor is summoned. He examines the baker, checks his pulse, listens to his breathing. He's asleep, the doctor says, baffled. Just asleep. Deeply asleep. Well, wake him up, the wife shouts. I'm trying, woman. He won't wake. Word spreads through Ashgrove like wildfire. The baker is asleep, and no one can wake him. Thomas hears about it at breakfast. His mother is pale. His father is grim. It's happening again, his mother whispers. Don't say that, his father snaps. It's probably just exhaustion. He works hard. But Thomas knows better. He finds Alice at the schoolhouse. She's already heard. It's her, she says. She's back. The music box is still alive, Thomas tells her. I found a gear. It's ticking. Alice's eyes widen. Where is it? Thomas pulls it out. Alice examines it. We have to destroy it. Completely. Melt it down. Bury it. Something. What if that makes it worse? What if doing nothing makes it worse? They don't have an answer. That night, 2 more people fall asleep and don't wake. The blacksmith and Mrs. Cartwright. Panic sets in. The village gathers in the square. The vicar tries to calm everyone. This is a medical issue. Not spiritual. We need to remain rational. Rational? Someone shouts. 3 people won't wake up. How is that rational? It's her. Another voice cries. The peddler woman. She cursed us. There's no such thing as curses, the vicar insists. But his voice wavers. Thomas watches from the edge of the crowd. Alice stands beside him. We have to do something, she whispers. I know. Tonight. We'll stay awake, together. And if she comes, we'll stop her. It sounds braver than it feels. They make a plan. Meet at the church at midnight. Bring the gear. Bring anything that might help. Thomas doesn't know what that means. He grabs the iron poker anyway. Alice brings her father's hunting knife. They're children, armed with scrap metal and desperation. But they're all Ashgrove has. Midnight comes. The village is dark. Thomas sneaks out of his house. The streets are empty. The church looms ahead, black against the night sky. Alice is already there, waiting on the steps. Ready? She asks. No, Me neither. They push open the church door. Inside, it's dark. No candles, no fire, just shadows. Thomas lights a lantern. The pews are empty. The pulpit is bare. "Where is she?" Alice whispers. "I don't know." Then they hear it. Faint, distant, growing closer, humming, the lullaby. Thomas's grip tightens on the poker. Alice raises the knife. The humming grows louder. A figure appears in the doorway, silhouetted, cloaked. Maud Winters steps into the light. She looks the same, ancient, weary, but there's something different in her eyes. "Anger. You broke my music box," she says softly. "You trapped people." Thomas shoots back. "I saved them. You lied." Maud steps closer. "I told you what would happen. I warned you. And you destroyed it anyway. Now look what you've caused." "What are you talking about?" Maud gestures to the village. "The dreams I collected are loose, unanchored. They're searching for new hosts. That's why your people are falling asleep. The dreams are claiming them." Thomas's stomach drops. "You said they'd die if I broke the box. I said they'd die inside the box. But you shattered it. You set them free. And now they're hungry." Alice steps forward. "How do we stop it?" Maud smiles, sad, tired. "You can't, unless, what? Unless someone volunteers. Someone offers themselves as a new vessel. A new music box. Then the dreams will have a home. And your village will be safe." Thomas understands. "You want one of us to take your place." "I'm offering you a choice," Maud says. "Let the dreams consume Ashgrove, one person at a time. Or give them a willing host. Someone strong. Someone who can hold them. Why don't you do it?" Alice demands. "I did. For 700 years. I'm done." Thomas looks at Alice. Alice looks at Thomas. Neither of them speaks. Maud watches. "The dreams will take everyone eventually. Your families. Your friends. Everyone. Unless one of you steps forward." "How do we know you're telling the truth?" Thomas asks. "You don't." Maud holds out her hand. In her palm is the silver gear. The one Thomas had. But this is still ticking. Which means the box is still alive. Which means the dreams are still out there. You can feel it, can't you? The pull. The exhaustion. It's getting harder to stay awake. She's right. Thomas feels it. The weight pressing on his eyelids. The fog in his brain. Alice sways beside him. "Choose," Maud says. "Or I will." Thomas looks at the gear. At Maud, at Alice. And he thinks about his mother. His father, Emily. The baker. The blacksmith. Mrs. Cartwright. 300 people who just want to live. He thinks about Maud. 700 years of loneliness. 700 years of carrying other people's dreams. He thinks about choice and sacrifice and what it means to be a hero. And he makes a decision. "I'll do it." Alice grabs his arm. "No, Thomas, I'll do it," he repeats. "I'm the one who broke the box." "I should fix it." Maud studies him. "You're 8 years old. So, you'll be trapped forever, carrying the dreams. Never sleeping, never resting, just holding. Will Ashgrove be safe?" "Yes." "Then I'll do it." Maud doesn't smile, doesn't argue. She just nods and holds out the gear. Thomas reaches for it, and Alice shoves him aside. She grabs the gear first. "Alice, no." "Someone has to," she says. Her voice is steady, determined. "And I'm older, stronger. I can handle it." "You don't know that." "Neither do you." Alice looks at Maud. "How does it work?" Maud's expression is unreadable. "You hold the gear. You accept the dreams. And you become the vessel. Will it hurt?" "Yes." Alice takes a breath. "Okay. Alice, please." Thomas begs. She looks at him, really looks. "Someone has to stay awake, Thomas. Someone has to remember. That's you. Not me. She closes her hand around the gear, and the world explodes with light. Light pours from Alice's hand like water from a broken dam. Silver, blinding, cold. It fills the church, spills through the windows, floods the village. Thomas shields his eyes. Maud stands perfectly still, watching. The light wraps around Alice like chains. She gasps. Her knees buckle, but she doesn't let go. Alice! Thomas lunges forward. Maud catches him. Her grip is iron. Don't. If you touch her now, you'll be pulled in too. Let me go. Watch, Maud commands. This is what sacrifice looks like. Thomas stops struggling, not because he wants to, because he has to. Because Alice is changing. Her red hair lifts like she's underwater. Her freckles glow. Her eyes turn silver. The same silver as the light, as the dreams. She's becoming something else. Something not quite human. The light intensifies. Thomas hears voices. Thousands of them, overlapping, whispering, singing, crying. The dreams Maud collected. 700 years of consciousness compressed into sound. They're speaking to Alice, or through her, or both. Who are you? The voices ask. Alice's lips move. Her voice is her own, barely. Alice Pembrook. I'm 12 years old. I live in Ashgrove. And I'm here to hold you. Why? Because someone has to. Because my village needs to wake up. Because she falters. Tears stream down her cheeks. Because I choose this. The voices go silent. The light pulses, once, twice. Then it begins to recede. Slowly, carefully. It flows back into Alice, into her hand, into the gear. She's absorbing it, becoming it. Thomas watches in horror, in awe, in heartbreak. Maud releases him. He stumbles forward. Alice? Alice opens her eyes. They're still silver, but they're hers. Thomas, are you okay? I don't know. She looks at her hands. The gear is gone, absorbed. She flexes her fingers. I can feel them, the dreams. All of them. They're inside me now. Can you let them go? No. Her voice is hollow. Not without killing them. And me. Maud steps forward. You're the vessel now. The music box. The dreams will stay with you as long as you live. You'll carry them. Protect them. And in return... In return, what? You won't age. You won't die. Not easily. You'll be like me. Eternal. Alone. Alice laughs. It's bitter. Great. What a prize. You chose this, Maud reminds her. I know. Thomas feels sick. There has to be another way. We can. There isn't. Alice interrupts. It's done, Thomas. I'm done. What about your father? Your family? They'll be safe. That's all that matters. But you, I'm fine. She's lying. They both know it. I'm fine. The church door bursts open. Villagers flood in. Led by Mr. Pembrook. He's wild-eyed, frantic. Alice? Alice? Where are you? Alice turns. Her silver eyes meet her father's. He stops. Stares. Alice? What happened to you? I saved everyone, Dad. What are you talking about? Your eyes. I know. Alice walks toward him, slowly, like she's afraid he'll run. I had to do something. The dreams were taking people. So I took them instead. Mr. Pembrook doesn't understand. How could he? He looks at Maud, at Thomas, at his daughter. What is this? What's happening? Maud speaks. Her voice is calm, final. Your daughter is a hero, Mr. Pembrook. She volunteered to carry a burden no child should bear. And because of her, Ashgrove will survive. Carry what burden? What are you talking about? The dreams of the dead, Maud says simply. She'll hold them, forever, so they don't consume the living. The villagers murmur. Confused, afraid. Someone says, witch. Someone else says, curse. Thomas steps forward, loud, clear. She saved you, all of you. The people who fell asleep, they'll wake up now. Because Alice did this. Did what? Demands the blacksmith's wife. Something you'll never understand, Alice says quietly. Something I don't fully understand, but it's done. And you're safe. So just go home. Forget this. Forget me. Forget you? Mr. Pembrook's voice cracks. You're my daughter. I was. Alice's composure breaks. I was your daughter. But I'm something else now. And I can't stay. What do you mean you can't stay? The dreams need to move, to wander. If I stay in one place too long, they'll root. And people will start sleeping again. I have to keep moving. Always. Maud nods. It's true. The vessel must be nomadic, restless, never settling. No. Mr. Pembrook grabs Alice's shoulders. No. You're 12. You're a child. You're not going anywhere. Alice looks at her father. Silver eyes swimming with tears. I love you, Dad. Tell Mom I love her. Tell her I'm sorry. Alice. She pulls away. Walks toward the door. The villagers part. No one stops her. No one knows how. Thomas runs after her. Alice, wait. She stops. Doesn't turn around. What? Where will you go? I don't know. Somewhere. Everywhere. Nowhere. She laughs. Hollow. Maybe I'll become a story. The wandering girl with silver eyes. The dream collector. Wouldn't that be something? Will I ever see you again? I don't know. Alice. Now she turns. Her silver eyes bore into him. Remember me, Thomas. Remember what happened here. Write it down. Tell people. Don't let them forget. I won't. Promise. I promise. Alice smiles. Sad. Beautiful. Doomed. Then she walks out of the church. Into the night. Into legend. Mr. Pembrook collapses. Sobs. His wife who arrived with the crowd holds him. The villagers whisper. Pray. Leave, one by one. Returning to their homes. Their lives. Their safe, ordinary worlds. Thomas stands in the empty church, alone. Except for Maud. You're still here, he says. For now. Why? To make sure you understand. Maud walks to the pulpit. Runs her fingers along the wood. Alice chose this. Just like I chose it. 700 years ago. And now I'm free. Free? Thomas's voice is sharp. She's 12. She's a child. She's a hero, Maud interrupts. And heroes pay prices. That's how it works. It's not fair. No, it's not. Maud finally looks at him. Her pale eyes are wet. But it's real. And real is all we have. You could have stopped her. So could you. Thomas has no response. Because she's right. He could have grabbed the gear first. Could have fought harder. Could have found another way. But he didn't. And now Alice is gone. Maud walks to the door. Pauses. She'll be all right, Thomas, in her own way. The dreams will keep her company. She'll never be alone. She'll never be free. None of us are. Maud steps into the night. But some of us pretend better than others. And she's gone. Thomas stands in the church until dawn. When he finally goes home, his parents are frantic. They hold him. Scold him. Ask where he's been. He doesn't answer. Just hugs them. Tight. Grateful. Over the next few days, the sleeping villagers wake. The baker. The blacksmith. Mrs. Cartwright. They remember nothing. Just darkness. Then waking. They're weak. Confused, but alive. Ashgrove celebrates. Quietly. Reverently. They don't know why people woke. They don't ask. They're just grateful. But Thomas knows. And Mr. Pembrook knows. And a few others who were in the church that night. They don't talk about it. But they remember. Alice Pembrook becomes a mystery. A girl who disappeared on a winter night. Some say she ran away. Others say she died. A few whisper about witchcraft, curses, dark magic. Mr. Pembrook says nothing. He teaches. He grieves. He waits, hoping she'll come home. She doesn't. Thomas keeps his promise. He writes everything down, every detail, every moment. He fills notebooks. And when he's older, he tells people, his students, his children, his grandchildren. Most don't believe him. They smile, nod, treat it like folklore, but some do. The ones who felt it, the pull of sleep, the weight of dreams, the sense that something ancient and hungry is always watching. Those people listen and remember and pass it on, because Alice Pembrook is still out there, wandering, carrying 700 years of dreams plus her own, never stopping, never resting, never aging. A 12-year-old girl with silver eyes and an impossible burden. And sometimes on cold winter nights people see her, walking through villages, standing by wells, humming lullabies that sound like sorrow. They don't approach her. They don't speak. They just watch and remember that somewhere a child is holding the weight of the world, so they don't have to. That's the real story of Christmas 1834. Not about the boy who stayed awake, about the girl who never will. Alice Pembrook, dream collector, eternal wanderer, hero. She saved Christmas and lost everything. And if you think that's tragic, you're right. But it's also real. And real is the only gift that matters. February 1835. Ashgrove is quiet, not peaceful quiet. Haunted quiet. The kind of silence that settles after a funeral, when everyone's gone home and you're left alone with the absence. Alice Pembrook is gone. Her father teaches, but he's a ghost. Her mother stays in bed most days. The village pretends normalcy, but it's performance. Everyone feels it. The hole where Alice should be. Thomas Whitmore feels it most. He's 9 now. Birthday passed without celebration. His mother baked a cake. His father gave him a pocket knife. Emily tried to sing, but Thomas couldn't smile, couldn't pretend, because he knows what he lost, what he let Alice sacrifice. He writes obsessively, every night, by candlelight, filling page after page. The story of Christmas Eve, the music box, Maud Winters, Alice's choice. He writes until his hand cramps, until his eyes blur, until his mother calls him to bed. Thomas, it's late. Just a bit more, Mum. You've been writing for hours. What are you working on? A story. What kind of story? Thomas doesn't answer. How do you explain you're trying to preserve the memory of a girl who became a myth? That you're terrified of forgetting? That writing is the only thing keeping you from drowning in guilt? His mother doesn't push. She kisses his forehead. Don't stay up too late. But Thomas does, always, because sleeping feels wrong, like betrayal. Alice can't sleep. So why should he? The nightmares don't help. Every night, Thomas dreams of silver eyes, of lullabies, of Alice walking alone through endless winter. He wakes gasping, sweating, guilty. His father notices. Bad dreams again? Yes. Want to talk about it? No. Thomas, I'm fine, Dad, really. He's not. But saying it out loud would make it real. And Thomas is very good at pretending things aren't real. School becomes unbearable. Mr. Pembrook tries to teach geography, mathematics, history. But his voice is flat, his enthusiasm dead. Sometimes he stops mid-sentence, stares out the window. The students shift uncomfortably. Thomas watches him, sees the guilt eating him alive. The same guilt Thomas carries. One afternoon, after class, Thomas approaches. Mr. Pembrook? The teacher looks up. His eyes are red-rimmed. Yes, Thomas? Do you Do you think Alice is okay? Mr. Pembrook's face crumples. He recovers quickly. Professional mask back in place. I don't know, Thomas. I pray she is. She saved everyone. I know. She was brave. I know. Mr. Pembrook's voice breaks. I know she was. I wish she hadn't had to be. Thomas nods. They sit in silence. Two people carrying the same unbearable weight. Finally, Mr. Pembrook speaks. Do you blame yourself? Thomas's throat tightens. Yes. So do I. Mr. Pembrook removes his spectacles. Wipes his eyes. Every day. Every hour. I think about what I could have done differently. How I could have stopped her. Could you have? I don't know. Probably not. But that doesn't stop the wondering. Thomas understands. The wondering is the worst part. The endless loop of what-ifs. Mr. Pembrook, do you think she ever come back? The teacher puts his spectacles back on, looks at Thomas with something like hope, something like despair. I don't know, but I'll be here if she does. Always. Thomas leaves the schoolhouse feeling worse. I'm better. Worse because Mr. Pembrook's pain is palpable. Better because he's not alone in it. That night, something changes. Thomas is writing when he hears it. Faint, distant, coming from outside, humming. His blood turns to ice. He sets down his pen, listens. The humming continues. Soft, melodic, familiar. The lullaby. Thomas grabs the iron poker still under his bed and creeps downstairs. His parents are asleep. Emily, too. The house is dark, silent except for the humming. He opens the front door. The street is empty. Moonlight illuminates the cobblestones. Snow crunches under his boots. He follows the sound. It leads him to the village square, to the church, to a figure standing by the well. Thomas's heart pounds. Alice? The figure turns. Silver eyes glint in the darkness. It's her, but different. Her red hair is longer, wilder. Her clothes are ragged, travel-worn. She looks thinner, older. Not physically, she's still 12, but in her eyes. In the way she holds herself, she's seen things, carried things. Thomas. Her voice is hoarse, like she hasn't spoken in weeks. You're still awake. I couldn't sleep. Neither can I. She laughs. It's hollow. Never again, actually. Thomas walks closer, slowly, like approaching a wild animal. Are you? Are you okay? Define, okay. Alice sits on the edge of the well. I'm alive. I'm functioning. I'm carrying the weight of 700 years of human consciousness. So, okay is relative. Why did you come back? I don't know. I'm drawn here. To Ashgrove. To home. Every few weeks, I end up back here. Like a compass pointing north. The dreams want to return. To the place where they were freed. Does it hurt? Alice considers. Constantly. But I'm used to it now. Pain becomes background noise after a while. Thomas sits beside her. They don't touch. Don't look at each other. Just sit. Two children who've seen too much. Your father misses you, Thomas says quietly. I know. He waits for you. Every day. Hoping you'll come home. I can't. Alice's voice cracks. If I stay too long, the dreams will root. People will start sleeping again. I have to keep moving. Always. That's not fair. No. But it's real. She echoes Maud's words. And real is all we have. They sit in silence. The village sleeps around them. Peaceful. Unaware. Safe because of the girl beside him. Do you hate me? Thomas asks suddenly. Alice looks at him. Surprised. Why would I hate you? Because I should have stopped you. Should have grabbed the gear first. Should have what? Taken my choice away? Alice shakes her head. I made the decision, Thomas. Me. Not you. Not Maud. Me. But you were 12. So were you, well, 8. Close enough. She smiles. Sad. We were children making adult choices. Neither of us knew what we were doing. But we did the best we could. Your best ruined your life. My best saved 300 people. Including you. Including my father. That's not nothing. Thomas wants to argue. Wants to insist she deserves better. But he knows it won't change anything. Alice made her choice. And she's living with it. Literally. Forever. I'm writing it all down, Thomas says instead. Everything that happened. So people remember. So your sacrifice means something. Alice's silver eyes soften. Thank you. I promised. I know. She stands. Stretches. I should go. Dawn's coming. And I need to be far from here before people wake. When will you come back? I don't know. Weeks, months, years, time is strange now. It moves differently for me. Thomas stands too. Will you visit your father before you go? Alice hesitates. I want to, but seeing him hurts. And I don't want to hurt him more. He'd rather hurt than lose you completely. Would he? Alice looks toward the schoolhouse, where her father sleeps, dreaming of his daughter. Or would he rather remember me as I was, not this? Thomas doesn't have an answer. Alice starts walking, away from the square, toward the road south. Thomas follows for a few steps. Alice? She stops. Doesn't turn. You're still a hero. No matter what. Alice's shoulders shake. She might be crying, or laughing, or both. Heroes don't get happy endings, Thomas. They just get endings. And she's gone, disappearing into the pre-dawn darkness, carrying her impossible burden. Alone, Thomas watches until he can't see her anymore. Then he goes home, back to his room, back to his notebooks, and he writes. He writes about the girl with silver eyes, the wanderer, the dream collector, the hero who saved Christmas and lost herself. He writes until the sun rises, until his mother calls him for breakfast, until life forces him to return to the ordinary world. But he never forgets, never stops writing, never stops remembering. Because someone has to bear witness. Someone has to ensure that Alice Pembrook's sacrifice wasn't just swallowed by history. That's Thomas's burden, his choice, his way of sharing the weight, and over the years, he'll tell the story. To anyone who'll listen, his children, his grandchildren, strangers in taverns. He'll become known as the old man with the strange tale, the one about the Christmas that almost didn't happen. Most will think he's mad, senile, confusing dreams with reality. But a few will listen, really listen, and they'll feel it. The truth beneath the story, the weight of it. And they'll remember Alice Pembrook, the girl who couldn't sleep, the wanderer with silver eyes, the hero who walks through eternity so others can rest. 17 years after Christmas Eve, 1834. Thomas Whitmore is 26 years old, married, father of 2, schoolteacher in Ash Grove, living in the house where he grew up, sleeping in the room where he watched his family fall under Maud's spell. But he's not the same boy. How could he be? He's taller, bearded, weathered by life. His students call him Mr. Whitmore. His children call him Papa. His wife calls him Thomas. But sometimes, when he's alone, he still feels like that 8-year-old boy standing in an empty village, terrified and desperate. Some things you never outgrow. Some nights you never leave behind. Mr. Pembrook retired 5 years ago. His health failed. His mind deteriorated. Not dementia, just grief. The slow erosion of a man who lost his daughter and never recovered. He died last winter, quiet, peaceful, in his sleep. Thomas attended the funeral. The whole village did. They buried Mr. Pembrook in the churchyard, near the spot where Alice took the silver gear. Thomas wondered if she knew, if she felt it. If somewhere, in her wandering, she stopped and looked back toward Ashgrove. He hoped she did, but he'll never know. Thomas took over as the village schoolteacher. It felt right, continuing Mr. Pembrook's work, teaching the next generation, keeping Ashgrove educated, keeping the story alive. Because Thomas tells the story, often, to his students, to his children, to anyone who visits Ashgrove and asks about local legends. Have you heard about the Christmas of 1834? Most haven't, but they listen. And Thomas tells them, not the sanitized version, not the comfortable fairy tale, the real story, the music box, sleep, sacrifice. Alice Pembrook, all of it. Reactions vary. Some laugh, some nod politely, some call him mad. But a precious few believe. Those are the ones Thomas remembers. The ones who look at him with recognition in their eyes. The ones who felt it too. The pull of something ancient. The sense that the world is stranger than it seems. One evening, a traveler arrives in Ashgrove. A young woman, mid-20s, dark hair, tired eyes. She's walking through on her way to London. Needs a place to stay. Thomas and his wife offer her a room. Over dinner, she tells her story. She's a journalist. Works for a small newspaper. She's investigating British folklore, collecting stories, documenting myths before they disappear. Folklore is dying, she says. Modernization is erasing it. Factories, railways, cities. People are forgetting the old stories. I want to preserve them. Thomas's pulse quickens. What kind of stories? Anything. Ghosts, witches, fairies, strange happenings, unexplained events. I'm particularly interested in Christmas legends. There's something about winter that seems to attract the supernatural. Thomas sets down his fork, looks at his wife. She nods. Permission. Have you heard of the girl with silver eyes? The journalist pauses. No. Tell me. So Thomas does. The whole story, start to finish. He doesn't hold back, doesn't soften it. He tells her about Maud Winters, the music box, the village that slept, and Alice Pembrook, the 12-year-old girl who became a wandering vessel for dreams. The journalist listens, takes notes, asks questions. She's skeptical, Thomas can tell, but she's also intrigued. That's quite a story, she says when he finishes. It's true. Can you prove it? Thomas pulls out his notebooks. 17 years of documentation. Pages and pages of testimony. Drawings of the music box. Descriptions of Maud. Accounts from villagers who remember that Christmas. Not many. Most have died or moved away. But a few remain. The journalist reads. Her skepticism fades. Not because she believes in magic, but because she believes in Thomas, in his conviction, his sincerity. This is remarkable, she says quietly. Even if it's not literally true, it's an incredible piece of folklore. It is true, Thomas insists. Perhaps, but truth is subjective, Mr. Whitmore. What matters is the story. And this story, it's powerful. She stays in Ashgrove for 3 days. Interviews the remaining villagers who remember 1834. Most corroborate Thomas's account. Some add details. The vicar's wife remembers waking in the church. The baker remembers falling asleep and not waking for 3 days. The blacksmith's widow remembers Alice Pembrook, the strange girl who disappeared. The journalist writes it all down. Before she leaves, she shakes Thomas's hand. Thank you. This will be one of the best stories in my collection. Will you publish it? Yes, in my book. Folklore of the British Isles. It should be out next year. Thomas smiles. Good. People should know. They should remember Alice. They will, the journalist promises. I'll make sure of it. She leaves. Thomas returns to his life. Teaching, farming, raising his children, being ordinary. But the story spreads. The journalist publishes her book in 1853. It sells modestly, mostly to academics and folklore enthusiasts. But the story of Alice Pembrook, the girl who holds the dreams, becomes one of the most popular entries. People read it, discuss it. Some dismiss it as fiction. Others investigate. A few travel to Ashgrove, asking questions, looking for proof. Thomas welcomes them all, shows them his notebooks, takes them to the church, points out the well where Alice stood, the square where the village slept, the spot where the music box shattered. Some leave disappointed. Some leave convinced. All leave changed, because that's what stories do. Real or not, true or false, they change you. They make you think. They make you question. And slowly, over years and decades, the story becomes legend. The legend becomes myth. The myth becomes cultural memory. By the 1880s, the Ashgrove Sleeper is a known British folktale. Children hear it at bedtime. Adults reference it in literature. Scholars debate its origins. Was there really a girl named Alice Pembrook? Did an entire village really fall asleep on Christmas Eve? Or is it allegory? Metaphor? A cautionary tale about the dangers of complacency. Thomas doesn't care about the debates. He's old now, in his 60s, gray-haired, slow-moving, but still teaching, still telling the story. His own children have grown, moved away, started families, but they remember the story. They tell their children, and their children tell theirs. The story survives. Mutates, changes. Each telling adds something, removes something. That's how folklore works. It's alive, evolving, but the core remains. A girl named Alice, a Christmas Eve, a sacrifice, silver eyes, dreams. Thomas sits in his study one winter evening, 1860, 26 years after that Christmas. He's rereading his old notebooks, remembering. There's a knock at the door. His wife answers, brings a visitor to his study. A girl, 12 years old. Red hair, freckles. Thomas's heart stops. Alice? The girl smiles. Hello, Thomas. She looks exactly as she did in 1835. Not older, not different. Exactly the same, except her eyes. Still silver, still carrying universes. Thomas stands. His legs shake. How are you here? I wander. Remember? Sometimes I end up back in Ashgrove. It's been years. I wanted to see how you were. I'm old. I know. Alice looks at him. Really looks. Takes in the gray hair. The wrinkles. The weight of time. You've lived a good life. I've lived a guilty life. Thomas, I should have stopped you. We've been through this. Alice sits. Gestures for Thomas to do the same. You didn't stop me because you couldn't. It was my choice. My burden. You've carried yours by remembering. By telling the story. That's enough. Is it? Yes. Alice's voice is firm. You've kept me alive, Thomas. Not just in memory. In meaning. Because of you, people know what I did. What I carry. That matters. Thomas's eyes fill with tears. Do you ever regret it? Alice pauses, considers. Sometimes, when I'm walking through a village and I see families. Children playing, lovers holding hands. I wonder what my life would have been, who I would have become. I'm sorry. Don't be. I made my choice, and I'd make it again. Because those families, those children, they're alive because I did this. That's worth it. Even if it cost you everything? Especially then. Alice stands, walks to the window, looks out at Ashgrove. Heroes don't get to keep anything, Thomas. They give it all away. That's what makes them heroes. Thomas joins her. Two figures silhouetted against the firelight. One old, one eternally young, both carrying impossible weights. Will I see you again? Thomas asks. Maybe, maybe not. Time is strange for me now. Years pass like days. Days pass like years. I might be back tomorrow, or in 50 years, or never. I'll be dead long before then. I know. Alice looks at him, silver eyes wet. But your story won't be, and that means I won't be either. So thank you, Thomas Whitmore, for being my witness, my friend, my anchor. She hugs him, brief, tight. Then she's gone. Out the door, into the night, into legend. Thomas watches from the window, sees her disappear into the darkness. And he knows, with certainty, that he'll never see her again. But that's okay, because he's done his job. He's preserved her, protected her, ensured that Alice Pembrook will never be forgotten. That's his legacy. Not teaching, not family, not anything tangible. Just a story, a memory, a promise kept. Victorian England loves a good ghost story. Gaslit streets, foggy evenings. The Industrial Revolution grinding away at tradition. People are anxious, displaced, looking for meaning in a world that's changing too fast. So they turn to the supernatural, seances, spirit photography, folklore, and the story of Alice Pembrook becomes something more than legend. It becomes proof. Reports start filtering in from across England. A girl, 12 years old, red hair, silver eyes, seen walking through villages at night, always alone, always humming. The descriptions are consistent, too consistent to be coincidence. A farmer in Yorkshire sees her near his well. She's filling a bucket. When he approaches, she looks at him with eyes that glow in the darkness. He runs. When he returns with his wife, she's gone. The bucket is still there, full, frozen solid despite the summer heat. A merchant in Cornwall passes her on a road. She's walking barefoot through snow. He offers her a ride. She declines, says she has far to go. When he looks back, she's disappeared. No footprints, just empty road. A vicar in Sussex finds her in his church, sitting in the front pew, staring at the altar. He asks if she needs help. She says no, says she's just resting. He leaves to fetch tea. When he returns, she's gone. The pew is cold. Ice crystals form on the wood. The stories multiply. Dozens, then hundreds, all describing the same girl. The same silver eyes, the same haunting presence. Newspapers pick it up. The wandering girl, the silver-eyed ghost, the dream walker. They publish eyewitness accounts, interview experts. Paranormal investigators travel to reported sightings, find nothing. Just stories, descriptions, fear. Thomas reads every account he can find. He's 70 now, 1878. 44 years after that Christmas. But his mind is sharp, his memory intact, and he knows, with absolute certainty, that these sightings are real. That's Alice, still wandering, still carrying her burden. He writes letters to the newspapers, explains the origin, tells the story of Christmas 1834. Most ignore him. A few publish excerpts, dismiss him as a local eccentric with a good imagination. But Thomas doesn't care about validation. He cares about Alice. About people understanding what they're seeing, who they're seeing. Not a ghost, not a spirit. A living girl trapped in eternal childhood, carrying the weight of centuries. One letter reaches someone important, a paranormal researcher. A woman named Eleanor Blackwood. She's famous in certain circles. Author of several books on British hauntings. Skeptical, but thorough. She doesn't believe in ghosts, but she believes in mysteries. And Alice Pembrook is a mystery. Eleanor visits Ashgrove in the autumn of 1878. Thomas is teaching when she arrives. His students, grandchildren of the people who slept that Christmas, tell him a lady is asking for him. He finds Eleanor in the village square, mid-40s, sharp-eyed, dressed practically. She introduces herself. "Mr. Whitmore? I'm Eleanor Blackwood. I received your letter about Alice Pembrook." Thomas nods. "You want to know if she's real. I want to know what's real. The sightings are documented, consistent. That suggests either mass delusion or something genuine. I'm here to determine which. She's genuine, so you've said, in your letter, and in the folklore collection from 1853. But I need more than testimony. I need evidence." Thomas takes her to his study, shows her the notebooks, decades of documentation, the original accounts, the music box shards he still keeps in a wooden box, testimony from villagers, everything. Eleanor examines it all, methodically, scientifically. She asks questions, challenges inconsistencies, pushes for details. After 3 days, she sits back. This is either the most elaborate hoax in British history, or it's true. "It's true," Thomas says simply. "I'm inclined to believe you, but belief isn't proof. I need to see her, talk to her, verify her existence. She doesn't appear on command. She wanders. Sometimes she comes back to Ashgrove. Sometimes she doesn't. It's been 18 years since I last saw her. Then we wait. Eleanor stays in Ashgrove. Days turn into weeks. She interviews remaining witnesses, studies the church, examines the well, takes measurements, photographs, notes, and she waits. Thomas joins her most evenings. They sit in the square, watching, hoping, talking. "Why does this matter to you?" Eleanor asks one night. "Because she sacrificed everything," Thomas says, "and I promised to remember, to make sure people knew. That's all I can give her. You've given her more than that. You've given her immortality. The story will outlive us all. Stories aren't enough. People need to understand. She's not a ghost. She's not a monster. She's a girl who made an impossible choice. She deserves respect, not fear." Eleanor nods. "I understand, and I'll do what I can to help. But we need proof." The proof arrives on the first night of November. Thomas and Eleanor are sitting by the well. Midnight. The village is asleep. Frost covers the cobblestones. Their breath clouds in the air. Then they hear it, humming. Faint, distant, growing closer. Eleanor stiffens. Thomas stands. His heart races. A figure emerges from the darkness. Red hair, ragged clothes, silver eyes that glow in the moonlight. Alice Pembrook. She stops when she sees them, looks at Thomas, smiles, sad, tired. "Hello, Thomas." "Alice." His voice breaks. She looks at Eleanor. "You brought a witness. This is Eleanor Blackwood. She's a researcher. She wants to understand." "Understand what? That I'm a freak? A walking museum piece?" "No," Eleanor says firmly. "That you're real. That what happened to you matters." Alice studies her, then nods. "All right. What do you want to know?" They talk for hours. Alice answers Eleanor's questions, describes the dreams she carries, the weight, the loneliness, the endless wandering. She's matter-of-fact, clinical, like she's describing someone else's life. Eleanor takes notes, asks clarifying questions, treats Alice with respect, not as a specimen, as a person. As the conversation winds down, Eleanor asks the most important question. "Do you regret it? The choice you made?" Alice doesn't hesitate. "No, I regret what I lost, but not the choice. Because of me, Ashgrove survived. My father lived another 15 years. Thomas has children, grandchildren. The village is alive. That's worth it. Even though you're alone, I'm not alone. I carry 700 years of dreams. thousands of voices. Memories. Lives. I'm never truly alone. But you're not free. No. But freedom isn't the only thing worth having. Eleanor closes her notebook. Thank you, Alice, for trusting me. Alice stands. Will you write about this? Yes, if you'll allow it. Write the truth. Not a ghost story. Not a horror tale. The truth that I was a girl who made a choice, and I'm still living with it. I will. Alice looks at Thomas. You're old, Thomas. I know. You'll die soon. I know. Thank you. For everything. For remembering. For keeping your promise. Thomas's eyes fill. I wish I could have done more. You did enough. Alice touches his cheek. Her hand is cold. You gave me a legacy. That's more than most heroes get. She walks away. Into the darkness. The humming fades. She's gone. Thomas collapses onto the well. Eleanor sits beside him. Neither speaks. Finally, Eleanor says, I believe you. I believe all of it. I know. I'll write about this. Publish it. Make sure people understand. Thank you. Eleanor keeps her promise. She publishes The True Account of Alice Pembrook, Dream Collector, in 1879. It's controversial, dismissed by many, but embraced by others. It becomes a foundational text in paranormal research. More sightings are reported, validated, documented. Alice Pembrook becomes a verified phenomenon. Not folklore. Fact. Universities study her. Researchers seek her. But she remains elusive, appearing and disappearing. Never staying. Never stopping. Always wandering. Always carrying her burden. Thomas reads Eleanor's book, cries. He's done it. He's kept his promise. Alice will be remembered, not as a ghost, as a hero. He dies 3 months later, peacefully, in his sleep. His last words to his wife. Tell Alice I kept my word. His family buries him in the Ashgrove churchyard. Near Mr. Pembrook, near the spot where Alice took the silver gear. And on the night of his funeral, witnesses report seeing a girl with silver eyes standing by his grave. She stayed until dawn, humming, weeping. Then she walked away. Into legend. Into history. Into the endless night she chose. Thomas Whitmore and Alice Pembrook. 2 children who faced the impossible. And changed the world by refusing to forget. That's their legacy. Not magic. Not miracles. Memory. And memory, it turns out, is the most powerful magic of all. Fast forward. 1934. 100 years after that Christmas Eve. Ashgrove is different. Automobiles replace horse carts. Electricity lights the streets. The old schoolhouse is now a community center. The church has been renovated. The well still stands, but it's decorative now. Plumbing replaced it decades ago. The world has changed. But the story hasn't. Every year on Christmas Eve, Ashgrove holds a vigil. Started in the 1880s. Continued through wars, depressions, revolutions. It's tradition now. 100 years of remembering. The village gathers in the square. They light candles, share stories. Tell the tale of Christmas 1834. Of Thomas Whitmore and Alice Pembrook. Of the village that slept and the children who saved it. Some believe it literally. Others treat it as folklore. Beautiful, meaningful, but fictional. Doesn't matter. They all participate. Because the vigil isn't about belief. It's about community. About honoring sacrifice. About remembering that sometimes children are braver than adults. This year, 1934, the vigil is special. Centennial. People travel from across England to attend. Descendants of the original families. Folklore enthusiasts. Paranormal researchers. Journalists. The square's packed. Hundreds of people. Candles everywhere. The church bell tolls midnight. And something impossible happens. A girl walks into the square. Red hair, silver eyes. 12 years old. The crowd falls silent. Everyone sees her. Everyone. She walks to the well. The same well where Thomas found her in 1860, where Eleanor interviewed her in 1878. She stands there, looking at the crowd, at the church, at the village she saved. An elderly woman steps forward, trembling. Are you Alice Pembrook? The girl nods. I am. But you're just a story. I'm both. Alice's voice carries through the silence. I'm a story, and I'm real. Stories don't have to be fiction to be true. Someone asks, why are you here? Because it's been 100 years. Because Thomas Whitmore kept his promise. Because I wanted to see what became of the village I saved. A man pushes forward, middle-aged, balding. He's holding an old photograph. My great-grandfather was Thomas Whitmore. He wrote about you, documented everything. We thought it was just family legend. Alice looks at him. Her silver eyes soften. Thomas was my friend, my witness. Tell me about him. Tell me what happened after I left. The man James Whitmore tells her. Thomas's life, his family, his teaching, his death in 1879, the generations that followed, all carrying the story, all preserving the memory. He never forgot you, James says. None of us did. Alice's composure cracks. Tears stream down her face. Thank you. Thank you for keeping him alive. For keeping me alive. Are you really carrying the dreams? Someone asks. Yes. For 100 years? For 100 years, the crowd murmurs. Some skeptical, some awed. A young woman, a journalist with a camera, asks permission to take photographs. Alice hesitates, then nods. Document this, so future generations know. I'm real. The story is real. And sacrifice matters. Flashbulbs pop. The journalist captures Alice from every angle. Standing by the well, looking at the church, surrounded by candlelight. The photographs will become famous. Evidence. Proof. Alice stays for an hour. She answers questions, tells stories, describes the dreams she carries, the voices, the memories. She's eloquent, articulate. Nothing like the ghost stories suggest. She's just a girl who made a choice and is living with it. A child maybe 7 approaches with her mother. Miss Alice? Are you lonely? Alice kneels. Eye level. Sometimes. But I'm not alone. The dreams keep me company. And nights like this. Nights when people remember. I feel connected. To Thomas. To Ashgrove. To everyone who refuses to forget. That helps. I won't forget, the child promises. Thank you. Alice touches the child's cheek. That means everything. As the hour grows late, Alice stands. I should go. I've stayed too long already. The dreams are restless. They want to move. Will you come back? James Whitmore asks. Maybe in another 100 years. Or tomorrow. Time is strange for me, but I'll remember this. This night, this vigil. Thank you. For honoring me. For honoring Thomas. For remembering. She walks toward the edge of the square. The crowd parts. And then a voice calls out. Wait. An old man pushes through. Ancient. 90 at least. He's using a cane. His hands shake, but his eyes are sharp. I knew Thomas Whitmore, he says, when I was a boy. He was my teacher. He told us about you, made us promise to remember. I've kept that promise for 75 years, and I want you to know, you mattered. You still matter. Alice's face crumples. She walks to the old man, hugs him. Gentle, careful. Thank you. Thank you for keeping your promise. Thank you for saving us. All of us. Not just in 1834. but every day since. By being proof that sacrifice is real, that heroes exist, that children can change the world, Alice steps back, wipes her eyes. Goodbye, all of you. Stay awake, stay alert, stay human. That's all any of us can do. And she walks into the darkness. The crowd watches until she disappears, until the humming fades, until she's legend again. But this time, they have proof, photographs, testimony, hundreds of witnesses. Alice Pembrook isn't folklore. She's fact. The story explodes. Newspapers across England publish the photographs. The dream walker returns. Alice Pembrook, a century later. The girl who cannot die. The images are haunting. A child with ancient eyes. Standing in candlelight. Surrounded by believers. Proof of the impossible. Skeptics demand investigations. Scientists study the photographs. Look for tampering. Find none. The images are genuine. Undoctored. Real. Which means Alice Pembrook is real. Which means the story is real. Which means sacrifice is real. The implications ripple outward. If Alice is real, what else is? What other legends are truth? What other myths are memory? The world in 1934 needs this. Europe is heading toward another war. The Great Depression grinds on. People are desperate, broken, looking for meaning. And Alice Pembrook provides it. She's proof that individuals matter, that choices have consequences, that heroism is real. She becomes a symbol. Hope, perseverance, sacrifice. Artists paint her. Writers immortalize her. Children dress as her for Halloween. She's transformed from local legend to cultural icon. The girl who holds the dreams, the wanderer, the eternal child. But Alice doesn't see any of it. She's walking, always walking, carrying her burden, moving through the world. Invisible to most, visible to a few. The sightings continue. Documented now, believed now. A girl with silver eyes. Seen in London, Manchester, Edinburgh, Dublin, Paris, Berlin. Always moving, never stopping. She becomes a global phenomenon. Not just British, international. The story translates, adapts, but the core remains. A girl, a sacrifice, a burden carried for eternity. And people remember. Not just Ashgrove. Everyone. The story spreads through books, newspapers, radio broadcasts. It becomes part of collective consciousness. Alice Pembrook, the girl who saved Christmas. The wanderer who won't stop until the last dream is at peace. In 1939, World War II begins. The world descends into darkness. Millions die. Cities burn. Humanity confronts its worst impulses. And through it all, Alice walks. Witnesses report seeing her in bombed-out London, in concentration camps, on battlefields, always alone, always watching, always carrying. Some say she collects the dreams of the dying, that soldiers see her before they pass, that she gives them peace, takes their final thoughts and preserves them. The stories multiply. Alice becomes more than real. She becomes mythic, a psychopomp, a guardian, an angel of memory. Whether it's true doesn't matter. People believe it, and belief creates reality. The war ends. 1945. The world rebuilds, but the trauma remains. Entire generations scarred, trying to make sense of senseless horror. And they turn to stories, to symbols, to figures like Alice Pembrook, who carries the weight of the past, who refuses to forget, who proves that sacrifice matters. She's perfect for post-war culture, a reminder that individuals can make a difference, that choices have meaning, that even children can be heroes. Present day. The world is unrecognizable from 1834. Ashgrove still exists, barely, The village has shrunk. Many of the old families moved to cities. The church still stands, but services are infrequent. The well is a historical marker. The square hosts a farmer's market on Sundays, but the story survives, stronger than ever, because the internet is forever. And Alice Pembrook lives online now too. There are Reddit threads, thousands of comments, people sharing sightings, analyzing photographs, debating authenticity. Some believe, some don't, but everyone engages. There's a TikTok account. And Alice sightings. 2 million followers. Videos of alleged encounters. Blurry footage. Testimonies. Always the same description. Red hair. Silver eyes. 12 years old. There's a podcast. Seeking Alice. 3 seasons. Hundreds of episodes. Hosts travel to sighting locations. Interview witnesses. Investigate. They never find her. But they keep trying. Because Alice Pembrook is the internet's favorite mystery. She's verifiable, documented, historical, but also impossible, eternal, magic. She's perfect for digital culture. Real enough to believe, mysterious enough to chase, symbolic enough to mean everything and nothing. Generation Z has adopted her as an icon, not religious, not supernatural. Just pure, authentic. In a world of filters and facades and performed identity, Alice is unchanging, real. What you see is what you get. She's trending. Again, always. The algorithm loves her. Every few months, new footage surfaces, new sightings, new theories, and the engagement is massive. Because Alice represents something people need. In an age of accelerating change, destabilizing technology, climate anxiety, political chaos, she's a fixed point. Proof that some things last, that sacrifice means something, that individuals matter. But there's a darker side. Obsession. There are people who dedicate their lives to finding her, tracking her. Some want to help. Others want to exploit. A few want to trap her, study her. Prove she's real. One group calls themselves the Dream Keepers. They're convinced Alice is the key to human consciousness, that the dreams she carries are accessible, that she's a repository of collective memory. They hunt her, organize expeditions, set elaborate traps, motion sensors, thermal cameras, AI facial recognition programmed with her description. They fail. Always. Alice is too careful, too experienced, too smart, but they don't stop. They can't. She's become their purpose, their obsession. In 2023, one of them gets close. A tech entrepreneur named Marcus Chen, billionaire, obsessed with immortality, transhumanism, consciousness uploading. He believes Alice holds the secret. That if he can understand how she carries the dreams, he can replicate it, create digital immortality. He hires a team, scientists, engineers, paranormal experts. They analyze every sighting, build predictive models, use machine learning to anticipate her movements. And in November 2023, they find her. Rural Scotland, a village smaller than Ashgrove. Alice is walking through a cemetery, reading headstones, humming. The team surrounds her, polite, non-threatening. Marcus approaches. Alice Pembrook? My name is Marcus Chen. I'd like to talk to you. Alice stops, looks at him, silver eyes unreadable. I know who you are. You do? I've been watching the world, Mr. Chen. I see what you're building, what you're trying to do. Then you know I'm trying to help. To end death. To preserve consciousness. Just like you do. I don't preserve consciousness. I trap it. That's not what the stories say. The stories are wrong. Alice's voice is cold. You think this is a gift? An honor? I'm a prison, Mr. Chen. The dreams don't rest. They don't find peace. They just exist. Forever. Screaming. Marcus pauses. But ... But the accounts say, the accounts romanticize, because people need hope. Need to believe sacrifice is noble. Beautiful. But it's not. It's torture. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Then let me help you. My technology could transfer the dreams. Free you. Give you your life back. Alice laughs. Bitter. You don't get it. There's no transferring them. They're part of me now, in my cells. My consciousness. Remove them and I die. And they die with me. 700 years of human memory. Gone. So you're trapped. Yes. Forever. Yes. Marcus looks at his team. Back at Alice. What if? What if we could share the burden? Distribute the dreams across multiple vessels? Digital ones. So you're not alone? Then you'd create more prisoners. More people trapped like me. Is that your grand vision? Digital slaves carrying humanity's memories. That's not. That's exactly what you're proposing. Alice steps closer. You want immortality without cost. Consciousness without consequence. But that's not how it works. Every choice has weight. Every gift has price. I chose this. With your digital vessels, Marcus has no answer. Alice looks at the team, the cameras, the equipment. Turn it off. All of it. Stop hunting me. Stop trying to understand me. Some things aren't meant to be solved. Some mysteries are warnings, not puzzles. But humanity could benefit. Humanity benefits from memory, from learning, from understanding that sacrifice is real and painful and necessary. That's what I represent, not a solution. A reminder. She walks past them. Through the cemetery, toward the hills beyond. Marcus calls after her. Will I see you again? Alice doesn't turn around. Probably not. You'll be dead. I'll still be walking. That's how this works. And she disappears. Into the Scottish moors. Into legend. The footage leaks online. Of course it does. Millions of views within hours. People debate every word. Every implication. Some say Alice is cruel. Others say she's realistic. A few say she's lying, protecting herself. But most understand. She's not a solution. She's a consequence. Living proof that some choices can't be undone. Some burdens can't be shared. And that's terrifying. In an age where people believe technology can solve everything, fix everything, optimize everything, Alice is proof that some problems are permanent. Marcus Chen deletes all his Alice-related research, shuts down the team. Never speaks publicly about the encounter. But he doesn't forget. How could he? He saw the truth. Behind the myth. Behind the silver eyes and the red hair and the eternal youth. He saw a girl in pain, carrying the impossible, enduring the unendurable, not because she's special, because she chose to. And that choice matters, even if it destroyed her life, even if it gave her existence instead of living. That's the lesson. That's what Alice represents. Not inspiration porn, not martyrdom, just the raw, brutal truth that heroism costs. Always. And sometimes the cost is everything. The internet processes the footage, argues, analyzes, creates new art, new stories, new interpretations. Alice Pembrook becomes even more. A movement, a philosophy. Be like Alice trends. Not meaning sacrifice everything. Meaning make choices that matter. Accept consequences. Live authentically. Young people tattoo her likeness. Silver eyes. Red hair. They wear her as armor. Against a world that demands performance. Perfection. Constant optimization. Alice is imperfect. Damaged. Eternal. Real. And that's powerful. In early 2025, a new phenomenon emerges. Alice vigils. Not just in Ashgrove. Everywhere. People gather on Christmas Eve, light candles, share stories. Remember, not just Alice, all sacrifices, all heroes, all people who gave everything for others. The vigils are secular, non-denominational, just humans acknowledging humans, that we're capable of greatness, and it costs. And Alice, wherever she is, feels it. The vigils, the memory, the refusal to forget. It helps. Not much, but enough. Because the dreams she carries are quieter during vigils, less restless. Like they know they're remembered, honored. And that's all any of us want, really. To be remembered. To have our sacrifices acknowledged. To matter. Alice matters. After 191 years, she still matters. Not because of what she is, because of what she chose. And that choice echoes forward, through time, through generations. Through every person who hears the story and thinks, I could be brave too, if I had to. If it mattered. That's Alice's real gift. Not the dream she carries, the courage she inspires. She's proof that children can change the world. That individuals matter. That sacrifice is real and meaningful and necessary. And in 2025, a world of AI and algorithms and artificial everything, those truths are more important than ever. Because the future isn't inevitable. It's chosen by people, by individuals, by children who refuse to sleep when the world needs them awake. Just like Thomas Whitmore, just like Alice Pembrook, just like you, if you choose it. December 24th, 2034. 200 years. Ash Grove has announced something unprecedented. A final vigil. The last official ceremony honoring Alice Pembrook and Thomas Whitmore. After this, the tradition ends. The village can't sustain it anymore. Population, 43. Average age, 67. The church needs repairs the village can't afford. The schoolhouse is condemned. Young people don't stay. Why would they? There's no work, no future, just history. And history doesn't pay bills. But for this, the bicentennial people return. Descendants of the original families, researchers, believers, the curious. They flood the village. Thousands of them. The largest gathering in Ash Grove's history. Tents fill the fields. Food trucks line the roads. News crews everywhere. Documentaries being filmed. Live streams running. It's chaos. Beautiful chaos. One last celebration before the story becomes purely digital, purely abstract. Disconnected from place. Because Ash Grove is dying. This is its funeral. And Alice Pembrook is the eulogy. The vigil starts at dusk. Candles are distributed. Thousands of them. The square glows. The church bell restored for this occasion tolls. People share stories. Versions they've heard. Versions they've created. The story has mutated over 2 centuries. Details changed, embellished, simplified. But the core remains. A village slept. A boy stayed awake. A girl sacrificed everything. At midnight, a historian takes the stage. Dr. Sarah Chun Marcus Chun's daughter. She's devoted her career to documenting Alice. She speaks. 200 years ago tonight, this village experienced something impossible. Something that changed the world. Not through conquest or invention or discovery, but through choice, through sacrifice. Through 2 children who refused to accept the unacceptable. The crowd listens, rapt, silent. Thomas Whitmore could have run. Alice Pembrook could have let others bear the burden. But they didn't. They stood. They fought. They chose. And because of that, we're here. Alive. Free. Human. Dr. Chum pauses. But this is the last official vigil. Ash Grove can't continue. The village is dying. And with it, the physical connection to the story. After tonight, Alice and Thomas become purely digital. Pixels and data, disconnected from earth and stone and place. She looks at the crowd, unless she appears. Unless Alice Pembrook walks into this square one more time. Proves she's real. Proves the story isn't just legend. Then maybe we can justify continuing. Can find funding. Can preserve Ashgrove. Can keep the physical memory alive. It's a plea. Desperate. Manipulative, even. But everyone understands. Without Alice, the village dies. The story becomes abstraction. Another internet mystery. Another unsolved phenomenon. With Alice, everything changes. Proof. Validation. Meaning. Midnight approaches. The crowd watches, waiting, hoping. The church bell tolls. Once, twice, 12 times. Nothing happens. 13. The final chime. Christmas Day. Still nothing. People wait. 5 minutes. 10. 15. Disappointment settles. Of course she wouldn't come. Why would she? It's been decades since the last confirmed sighting. She's probably gone. Finally died. Finally found peace. The crowd starts dispersing. Slowly. Reluctantly, the news crews pack up. The live streams end. Dr. Chun stands on the stage. Alone. Defeated. Ashgrove dies tonight. The story becomes ghost. Then someone screams. Everyone turns. Points. At the church. A figure stands in the doorway, silhouetted against the candlelight inside. Red hair catching fire from the glow. Small. Young. 12 years old. Silver eyes visible even from a distance. The crowd surges forward, but stops, instinctively, giving her space, respecting the moment. Alice Pembrook walks down the steps, into the square, toward the well. Her footsteps echo on the cobblestones. Everyone is silent, recording, witnessing. She stands by the well, looks at the crowd, at the cameras, at the village she saved 200 years ago, and she speaks. You want proof. You want validation. You want me to justify your belief, your investment, your tradition. Her voice is quiet, but it carries, amplified somehow. By acoustics, by will, by the dreams she carries. I'm tired. I've been walking for 200 years, carrying burdens that aren't mine, preserving memories that aren't mine, being proof that sacrifice matters, that heroes exist, that individuals can change the world. She pauses, but I'm not proof. I'm a person. I was 12 years old when I made the worst decision of my life. The best decision of my life. The only decision I could live with, and I've paid for it. Every day, every step, every breath. I've paid with my childhood, my life, my humanity. The crowd is silent, shocked. This isn't the Alice of legends, the noble hero, the willing sacrifice. This is a girl, angry, exhausted, human. You want me to save Ashgrove? To justify its existence? To make your vigils meaningful? Alice's voice rises. I've given enough. 200 years. That's enough. Let me go. Let this story end. Let me fade. Please. Dr. Chun steps forward. Be you too, but the story matters. You matter. I know I matter. That's the problem. I matter too much. I can't be just Alice. I have to be symbol. Icon, proof, inspiration. I'm so tired of mattering. What do you want? Alice looks at her, silver eyes wet. I want to rest. I want to stop walking. I want the dreams to finally quiet. I want to be 12 again. Really 12. Not eternally 12. We can help. No, you can't. No one can. Alice sits on the edge of the well. But you can let me go. Stop hunting me. Stop documenting me. Stop needing me. Just let me fade into whatever comes next. Is there something next? Someone asks. I don't know. But I'd like to find out. The crowd murmurs, debates. Some argue for continuing. Others agree with Alice. Dr. Chun looks torn. Then a voice speaks. Young, clear, a child, maybe 8. I'll remember you. Alice looks. A boy stands at the front of the crowd. Dark hair, bright eyes, serious expression. Even if there are no more vigils, even if Ashgrove disappears, even if everyone forgets, I'll remember. I promise. Alice stares at him. And something in her breaks or heals. Hard to tell. She walks over, kneels, eye level. Just like she did with that child a century ago. What's your name? Oliver. Oliver. Alice smiles. First genuine smile anyone has seen. You remind me of someone. A boy who stayed awake when everyone else slept. Who kept his promise for his entire life. Thomas Whitmore? Yes, he was my friend, my witness. The only person who truly understood. I understand too, Oliver says. You're tired. You want to rest. But you can't because the dreams won't let you. Alice's eyes widen. How do you? My sister died last year. Cancer. She was only 6, and I carry her with me. Every day. Her laugh, her stories, her dreams. I can't let her go. Because if I do, she's really gone. So I understand. About carrying. About not being able to rest. Alice's composure shatters. Tears stream down her face. I'm so sorry, Oliver. Me too. He pauses. But maybe we don't have to carry alone. Maybe we can share. Not the dreams, but the memory. The knowing that someone else understands. Alice looks at this 8-year-old boy. This child offering wisdom beyond his years. And she sees Thomas. She sees herself. She sees every person who's ever loved someone so much they can't let go. She pulls Oliver into a hug. Holds him, weeps. The crowd watches. Silent, reverent, witnessing something sacred. When Alice finally releases him, she stands, addresses the crowd. You want to know if the story matters? If sacrifice is worth it? If individuals can change the world? She wipes her eyes. Look at Oliver, 8 years old, carrying his sister, refusing to forget. That's what matters. Not grand gestures. Not eternal wandering. Just one person choosing to remember, to carry, to love even when it hurts. That's the real story. Not me, not Thomas. All of us. Every person who refuses to let the people they love disappear. We're all Alice Pembrook. We're all Thomas Whitmore. We're all carrying impossible weights. And we do it because love demands it. The crowd is crying now, understanding, feeling, connecting. So yes, individuals, let Ashgrove fade. Let me become legend. But don't stop carrying. Don't stop remembering. Don't stop loving. Because that's how we survive. That's how we matter. That's how we prove we're human. Alice looks at Oliver. Will you remember? Always. Then I can rest. Alice's voice is barely a whisper. Thank you for releasing me, for understanding, for being brave enough to carry your own weight. She walks back to the well, sits on the edge, and closes her silver eyes. The dreams she's carried for 200 years begin to emerge. Visible, tangible, silver light pouring from her like water. 10 years later, 2044. Oliver is 18, standing in Ashgrove Square. Christmas Eve. He's alone. Not because no one else came. Because he wanted this moment private, personal. Between him and the story that shaped his childhood. He's holding a notebook, filled with his own writing, his own documentation, his promise kept. The village has changed. Tourism is steady but respectful. The church has been restored. The well maintained. Alice's grave is covered in flowers year-round. Gifts, letters, tokens from people who understood. But the magic is gone. Not in a bad way. In a necessary way. Ash Grove is no longer haunted. No longer waiting. It's just a village. With a story, like thousands of others. Except this story is real. Documented. Verified. Alice Pembrook's body was studied. DNA analyzed. She was real. 12 years old biologically until the moment she released the dreams. Then aging 200 years in minutes. Science can't explain it. But science doesn't dismiss it. The evidence is too strong, too consistent, too witnessed. So Alice exists in the strange space between myth and fact. Acknowledged but unexplained. Real but impossible. Just like she always was, Oliver sits by the well. The same spot where Alice sat that final night. He opens his notebook, reads what he's written. Years of reflection, understanding, growth. He's learned something Thomas learned. That bearing witness is its own burden. That carrying someone's story is carrying them. That memory is responsibility. But he's also learned what Alice learned. That eventually you have to let go. Share the weight. Trust others to carry forward. He's written the story, his version, not Thomas's, not Eleanor Blackwood's, not Dr. Chun's, his. The story of what Alice meant to him, how she helped him process his sister's death, how she taught him that grief is love with nowhere to go. That carrying is how we keep people alive. He's written it for his generation, for people who grow up in a world accelerating toward futures they can't imagine, where everything changes except the fundamental truths. We love, we lose, we carry, we rest. That's the cycle. That's the story. That's humanity. Oliver's book will be published next year. The Girl Who Taught Me to Grieve. It'll be a bestseller. Not because of Alice, because of Oliver's honesty, his vulnerability, his willingness to say, I'm 18 and I don't have answers, but I have a story, and maybe that's enough. But tonight, before publication, before fame, before the story becomes his story, he wanted this. To sit where Alice sat, to feel what she felt. To honor her in the way she wanted, by being human, by being real, by refusing to let her become only symbol. He thinks about Thomas, who lived to 76, who taught generations of children, who wrote obsessively and loved fiercely and carried Alice's memory until his last breath. He thinks about Alice, who walked for 200 years, who carried impossible weight, who loved Ash Grove enough to save it and brave enough to finally let it go. He thinks about his sister, Emily, named after Thomas Whitmore's sister. Coincidence or fate, doesn't matter. She's gone, and Oliver carries her every day. In his laugh, his choices, his kindness. That's what Alice taught him. That carrying isn't burden, it's connection. It's proof that love transcends death. That memory is the only magic we need. He writes one final entry in his notebook. Dear Alice, I'm 18 now. You'd still be 12. That's strange to think about. I kept my promise. I remembered you. I told your story. I made sure people understood that you weren't just legend. You were real. You hurt. You hoped. You rested. Thank you for showing me it's okay to carry. And it's okay to rest. That both are necessary. Both are brave. I don't know if you can hear me, if consciousness continues, if dreams go somewhere. But if you can, I hope you're at peace. I hope the dreams that tormented you for so long have become something beautiful, something light. And I hope you know that you mattered. Not just because of what you did, because of who you were. A 12-year-old girl who made an impossible choice and lived with it, and eventually found rest. That's heroism. Real heroism, not the kind in movies. The kind that costs everything and gives everything and asks for nothing except to be remembered. You're remembered, Alice, by me. by thousands, by anyone who's ever loved someone enough to keep them alive through memory. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for showing us that even heroes get tired, get scared, get to rest, sleep well. You've earned it. Oliver, he closes the notebook, stands, looks at the church, the stars, the village sleeping peacefully, and he feels it, a presence. Not ghostly, not supernatural, just awareness, like Alice is here. In the stones, the air, the story itself. Maybe she is. Maybe consciousness does linger. Maybe the dreams she released are still here, woven into Ashgrove, into everyone who knows the story. Or maybe it's just Oliver, projecting, hoping, needing to believe that sacrifice means something, that heroes don't just disappear. Doesn't matter. Because the feeling is real. The connection is real. The memory is real. And that's all any of us get. Real moments. Real connections. Real choices. Alice chose to carry. Thomas chose to remember. Oliver chose to continue. And now you're choosing. Right now. Reading this. Carrying this story forward. Becoming part of the chain. The endless relay of memory that keeps people alive long after their bodies fail. That's the real magic. Not music boxes or dream collecting or eternal wandering. Just this. Human to human. Story to story. Heart to heart. You're Alice's legacy now. You're Thomas's promise. You're Oliver's hope. You're proof that stories matter. That sacrifice is real. That individuals can change the world by refusing to forget. So what will you do with that? Will you dismiss this as fiction? As creative writing? As entertainment? Or will you carry it? Share it? Let it change you? Will you look at your own life and ask, what am I carrying? Who am I honoring? What will I be remembered for? Will you choose to stay awake when the world wants you to sleep? To remember when forgetting would be easier? To love even when it hurts? Those are the questions. Alice's questions. Thomas's questions. The questions that matter. Not, is this real? But, does this matter? And the answer is yes. It matters. All of it. Every choice. Every sacrifice. Every memory. Because we're all Alice Pembrook. Carrying weights we didn't choose, making the best of impossible situations, walking through our own endless nights. And we're all Thomas Whitmore, witnessing, documenting, refusing to let the people we love disappear into forgetting. And we're all Oliver, young, scared, but choosing to carry anyway, because love demands it, because memory requires it. Because it's the only way we survive. That's the story. That's the truth. That's the gift. Not a Christmas miracle, a Christmas reality. The raw, beautiful, terrible truth that some things last, some choices echo, some people matter. Forever. Alice Pembrook walked for 200 years, but her story will walk forever. Through every person who hears it. Through every heart that recognizes itself in her struggle. She's immortal now, not physically, but truly. Because immortality isn't living forever. It's mattering forever, being remembered forever, changing people forever. And Alice does that. Still, always. Just like Thomas. Just like Oliver. Just like you. You're part of the story now. Whether you want to be or not. Because stories don't ask permission. They just enter, take root, change things. And this story, the story of the Christmas that almost wasn't, is one of the most important you'll ever hear. Because it reminds you that you matter. That your choices have weight. That sacrifice is real and necessary and beautiful. And that sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is admit you're tired. Ask for help. Let others carry you, just like Alice did. On Christmas Day, 2034, surrounded by witnesses, held by memory, released by love. She walked for 200 years. So you'd understand. You don't have to walk alone. You don't have to carry everything. You don't have to be a hero. You just have to be human, real, present. That's enough. That's everything. Oliver stands in Ashgrove Square, 18 years old, holding a notebook, keeping a promise. And somewhere in the space between memory and dream, Alice Pembrook smiles, because the story continues. The chain holds. The memory lives, one person at a time, one choice at a time, one story at a time, from 1834 to 2044 to forever. That's the gift. That's the legacy. That's the truth. Some things don't die. They just transform, become light, become stars. Become the stories we tell to remind ourselves that we're capable of greatness, even when it costs everything. Especially then. So carry on. Remember, love, choose, rest when you need to, and know that Alice Pembrook walked before you. Thomas Whitmore remembered for you. Oliver continues for you. And now it's your turn to be the witness, the carrier, the memory keeper, to refuse to let sacrifice be forgotten, to insist that individuals matter, to prove that stories are how we survive. That's the final lesson, the ultimate gift. The reason this story exists, not to entertain, to transform, to remind you that you're part of something bigger, something eternal, something real. You're part of the story of humanity, of love, of memory, of refusing to let darkness win. And that makes you a hero. Just like Alice, just like Thomas, just like Oliver. Not because you're perfect, because you're present, because you choose. Every single day, to stay awake, to remember, to carry. That's Christmas. Not presents or parties or performances. Just this, human connection, across centuries, across deaths, across everything. We're all walking together, carrying each other, remembering each other. From the village that slept to the girl who saved it to the boy who remembered to the child who continued to you. Reading this, right now. Becoming part of the chain. Welcome. You're needed. You're important. You're the next keeper of the story. Don't let it die. Stay awake.